turn over me vast piles, to which Indians reserve the right, closing right in front of me. Here is the deer, but as I closely peer, it's a trick that lifts my feet, left here to stay indefinitely. I'll be regretting this day. There is no way. There is no way to release my leg. There is no way. There is no.
Hi, I'm Christopher. I'm the owner and chief instructor of Precision Racing Instruction. I've been coaching racing and high-performance driving professionally for over 22 years. With experience in anything from karts to Formula cars to rally cars to sports cars to sim racing and a bit of everything in between, I can help you no matter what form of racing you do. We specialize in a precision approach to improving both your car control and racecraft to make you the best driver you can be. For a limited time, we are offering a special deal for anyone who mentions the Formula Indy Series, 15% off your first coaching session, either in the sim or in person. On top of that, I'm offering a one-time free video or data analysis for new students. Reach out to us either through Instagram or Facebook.
Well, hello and welcome to round number 10, I believe it is, of the National Capital Chapter BMW Car Club of America from Road America into the sunset, into the night. We're going to be setting up. We're in about 2 minutes left in qualifying here. Then we'll have another minute or so, minute, 2 minutes, while drivers finish up their laps. I just noticed my microphone isn't even in front of me. It's over here, so I'm going to move that one moment. It probably doesn't make much of a difference, but yeah, I was off to my side where I do my driving, so that has been fixed. So we run this track just about every season here in the NCC BMW series here, and so these drivers have a lot of experience here with that. Although I can't remember. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've driven it. We change cars every season, and yeah, we've driven in a season with these cars as well. So welcome back. Currently Darren Treakle on the provisional pole. Andy Scheel in P2, Steve Ficacci P3, Aaron Dietrich P4, Chris Hill P5. Steve Ficacci currently leading our championship. Steve and Hendrick there in P6. Let's see if Hendrick's out on the track. He wasn't earlier. They had their initial start in the Thunderdome series last night. If we have interviews with them at the end of the race, we're going to have to ask them their opinion about all of that. As time comes and expires here, we'll finish up our laps. Darren Treakle still on the track. So speaking of Darren here, we can get some words in for our sponsors here. Treakle Insurance, independent insurance agency offering auto, home, business, and life insurance. And they teamed up with Hagerty Insurance to provide collector car coverage as well as race car and track day coverage. That is at treakleinsurance.com right there on the screen. And that is one of our sponsors, makes these broadcasts happen every week this season. We appreciate them for that. Darren coming up to, we'll go through the field, go through the track map as we come to it, but this is 10 and 10B. Coming up over the crest of a hill. A really tough place to navigate through, easy to unsettle your car over those rumble strips and those bumps. And Darren's going to call it a day there. See, is Steve still out here? He is. He sets up, that is through the turn 6 and 7 section onto the straightaway that we saw Darren on a moment ago. Steve is going to come up here right at the line just about, and then we're going to run through the grid. Is he going to have enough time? About 20 seconds. That should be enough time to set a final lap. Things a little bit different here tonight. Chris Hill in P5. That's unexpected. And we'll see here. I don't think he's going to have enough time to finish this lap. No, he will not. It was like right at the moment there. So let's get to our grid. Darren Treakle taking the pole. Oh, let's make sure we've got that. Aaron Dietrich's going to be in P2. Brian Kennedy, is that is not correct, is it? I'm sorry that I'm yeah, this is not exactly correct. Let me, it switched it up on me there. I'm going to use the iRacing stuff there to figure out who is the grid here. Pardon our grid. Steve Higachi P3, Aaron Dietrich P4, Chris Hill P5, Hendrick, he's making a return here. He was in a race earlier in the season, though, in P6, Colin Kortanek P7, Andrew Stutzman P8, Brian Kennedy P9, Peter Lanik P10, Yakov Bielik in P11, Peter Yerksa P12, John Wood P13, Stephen Tenney, Sten Cellier P15, Matthew Stover P16, and that is our field there. Apologies for our grid. It's not sure where they're even coming up with those speeds, but we're going to have a short pace lap here, waiting on some of our cars in the field. We'll be wondering here as the race starts if we're going to have 1 or 2 pit stops here. They might be burning a lot of fuel, so I have a hunch that it will be a 2-stop race. Next season here in the series, I believe it is starting in January, not fully announced yet, but they're going to be running back to the BMW GTE, and expectations are that those will be back to like 1-stop races rather than some of the 1- and 2-stop races that we've seen so far this season. Waiting for all of our cars to grid. 17 cars going to be taking the field tonight. Good field. Road Atlanta, I was about to say Road America. I drove there yesterday in Lionheart IndyCar. Trying not to mistake that though. Darren's going to bring us down a quick pace lap. And pace car has ducked in. Green flag here at Road Atlanta. Aaron Dietrich there. Andy Shield, pardon me, on the outside. He's a member of another one of the BMW series, sports car series, I believe. Steve Higachi looking inside. Oh, he's going to force Shield off. He's going to go through that chicane. Chris Hill's going to get around him as well. Pressured by Dietrich. And Hendrick's going to be into P5 as well. As the 40-minute start here. Aaron Dietrich falling through the field. Ooh, he had a big time off. That's going to set him back. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on how that all works here. So, heading back up to the front. Darren Treakle is going to lead this first lap. He is under pressure from Ficacci, though. Chris Hill at P3, Hendrick P4, Andy Shield having that issue on the first lap. Gonna bring it home. He's in the 007 car in P5. Stutzman, he's back. I don't believe he was here last week, but promising driver here. Colin Kortanek in P7. Peter Lanik P8. Bielik P9. Kennedy P10. Matthew Stover having an issue back here as well at the first corner where we saw that first issue. So let's, I'm going to go on board with Chris Hill back here, and we're going to, when we get across the start-finish line, we're going to go a lap around here of Road Atlanta. Let's go on board with Chris Hill here. He comes out of the final corner onto the front straightaway across the start-finish line. Looks inside into turn 1. Fast right-hander. Coming up to turns 2, 3, 4 into the S's. Hard braking over, hopping over the curbing. And not much chance to make up positions in this section of the track. It is just kind of a roller coaster section. They're going to come out of that. They're going to go way over the bumps onto the curbs there. That was turn 5, the exit there. Into right-hander turn 6. Up to turn 7, onto the back straightaway that we've seen earlier. This is going to set up the best passing point on the track. Ficacci there might be saving fuel as well as Hill is. Hendrick, you can see him in the video backup camera there. Lurking his lights, and Hill's going to think about going inside. Letting his presence be known. That was 10A, 10B. Turn 11. Turn 12, final corner, and that is a lap here for Road Atlanta. Not sure if I recall if this series has been to Barber before, but that's kind of in the region here down in Alabama, I believe. This is in, Georgia? But not too far, easy drive. But another, Barber's more of a bike track, but sports car runs there as well. But this one's obviously Petit Le Mans runs here, so this is a classic one. Andy Shield pressuring Hendrick here. He's going to make a move here shortly. Hendrick back with those classic kind of pink magenta wheels here. That group of 3 at the front kind of breaking away at the moment. I think Shield's going to be looking to make a move here into 10. Inside. Hard onto the brakes. Hendrick's going to fight it. Oh, but Shield gets the better run off of that corner. He gets around. Yeah, Hendrick did fight pretty good there. Didn't want to get past. Meanwhile, Kennedy's moved it up to P6. And I see Scott has tuned in the chat. I did see that Scott was not going to be in the race today. We've got a good field size considering otherwise, though. Peter Lanik P7. Bielik P8. I think that Kennedy is the biggest mover so far. He started 10th, so looking pretty good. Hendrick not going to be able to make any moves. Looks like Shields just going to check out from here and try to get up into that group at the front. Make that a 4-car field as opposed, or a 4-car lead pack. Yeah, he's gaining really good time on them at the moment. He does have the fastest lap in 1 minute 18.114. Fikachi having an issue here. Darren actually gapping about a second from Fikachi. Hill making a move. A little bit of a twitch there. Fikachi's going to think about going inside into the corner. He's going to retake that position. Meanwhile, while they're doing this, Shield is just caught right up to this. Up here, Darren Treakle 2 seconds ahead at the moment. He's just got a smile on his face up here. Although I can hear lap traffic ahead. That is John Wood. We'll look at change on over to intervals here. That VRG Rix Flix car for Fikachi. Of course, all the BMW Car Club National Capital Chapter stuff on the front windshield as well. And Hill's going to try it again into the final chicane. And he's going to make that work. Will Fikachi try to come back? No, he's under pressure from Shield now. I go on board with Shield inside. Tough place to pass. You really got to make sure that you don't slide up the track. Into the chicane, it looks like Fikachi holding him off so far. Over to the curbs. I saw a cone there. Cone lives matter, as they say. Hendrick, with these cars battling one another, he's caught up to the with this group. Only half a second back, so he's part of this top 5 breakaway group now. Well, with that said, Hill's also starting to break away a little bit, and he's going to be working into Darren's lead up there. Familiar faces, 1, 2, 3. But we have some other faces, Shield and Hendrick, looking to get into that group as well. Just a mistake can happen. Aaron Dietrich trying to make his way back up through the field. He could be in store for that wild card interview if he can have a Mega Drive back up through the field. By the way, Scott, I loaded into this session incorrectly today, so I'm going to be on the results tonight. I usually join as a spectator, but I accidentally joined as a driver today, so I'll be P17, I think, but I won't have turned anything, obviously. That comes next season, possibly. That will just be a little nugget for you when you end up looking at the results later on this week. 1.5 seconds is that lead for Darren Treakle. That is coming down. So, fastest lap, though, is Shield has the fastest lap. We can actually show that at the moment. What is best lap? Minute 18.114 there for our P4 driver. You can see Cortanic, he's in the minute 18, so he's pretty quick back there and back in P10. try a different camera angle here if we can. John Wood coming up into this, currently running at the back of the field, about to be lapped. He's gonna do his best effort to not get involved with what is coming, the thunder coming behind him. Good view of the S's here. Excellent view of this. I remember using this camera angle before in a previous race here. But if this is a two-stop race, we might be coming up on pit stops here momentarily. If we just cut it into groups of equal amounts, but we'll see. We might have drivers get closer to that 22, 21 minutes, and if they can make it to 20 minutes, then it's a one-stopper, so we'll see. No one's better at saving fuel out here than that Ficacci. Ooh, I saw, okay, John Wood there. Treakle getting around Wood now. Hill's going to be thinking about that. Hill has gapped into Darren's lead about 1.1 second, 1 second now. John Wood's going to have to be careful up here, getting lapped. Looks like Shield trying to make a move on Ficacci back there as well. This is not where you want to meet lapped cars here through these S's. They're gonna make it. Oh, a little tap by from Shield. Oh, he comes across the track. Oh boy, and that is into the barrier. We're gonna get a replay of that one. That is tough. We saw this previous season, but we kind of saw that developing. But we saw that in a previous season. I want to say Darren Treakle was involved in an incident through the S's there with a lapped car. Just really single groove area here. It closed up. Honestly, a little bit of netcode possibly. Really lucky by Hendrick, and lucky John Wood didn't get taken out there either. Yeah, that was not good. Shield still on track. He's back in the pits. A really tough break getting that toe. Really get us back on our intervals here. Meanwhile, through that scary stuff back there for Hill, Ficacci, and Hendrick, they have gapped up, or Darren has gapped a little bit more there, but now Hill's going to eat into that a little bit more. Check out, see if we can find other battles on the track. Yerxa and Cortanic here. Yeah, blue flags are really, really difficult. I'm sure John Wood was doing everything he can, but just that particular section of the track, it is just really not easy. We were, it actually, over in Formula Indy, we were running VIR actually this week, and there's that whole section from about turn 5 to turn to Oak Tree that is just, if you're a lapped car there's really nothing you can do, and the lead lap cars are just slowed by that whole thing, and here at Road Atlanta very similar in that respect. Aaron Dietrich back here looking to make a move on Tenny. Not gonna happen here. I wonder if Aaron has, because of his first lap thing, maybe he's going to go into like mega fuel save and try to make it one stop here, rather than those leaders that probably need to make it a two-stopper to keep up that pace there at the front of the field. I do believe that Shield looks like he's called it a day. That puts Kennedy up to a top 5 position. think Dietrich's going to, well, possibly make a move here. That is Yerkes moving into the picture as well up there. Not too far ahead is Cortanic either. Last lap for Hill was about a half a second faster than Treakle there in the lead, so he's bringing that down to about a second. Oh, Hendrick in the pit lane, taking an early stop. He's definitely two-stopping it. That puts Kennedy up to P4. Ooh, we've got, not sure who that is. Who is that? Sten driving through the grass back here. Ooh, I was like, for about a second there, I thought they were going to come into contact there. Not sure who the other driver was there. Who is that? Let's see. Okay, Stover in the pit lane. This is a tough pit entrance here at this track, I do have to say. Yeah, who was that other driver? I'm not sure who that was. Not Yerkes. And meanwhile, it is just a half a second. Oh, Hill's gonna duck into the pits. Here, we're gonna watch this pit entry here. Try not to get that speeding penalty by the yellow cones. That is how you do that. That's Stutzman behind Hendrick. So Hendrick has pit, Stutzman has not. Oh, okay, yeah, Peter's car, yep. Peter in the pit lane right there. Bielik, also a lot of cars in the pit lane, everybody in the pit lane. The only driver's not in the pit lane is Treakle, Ficacci, so Dietrich, he's the one that I theorize might be in mega save mode. We will see. Hill is right there, coming out in P4. Hendrick is going to be currently P5. Kennedy comes out of the pits in P6. Lanik P7. Bielik just coming out of the pits there. Cortanic. Yerksa. Stutzman still on the pit lane, so we'll see. What are these? Okay, our first two cars, Treakle and Ficacci, into the pits, and let's see what Dietrich does here. If he can make it another lap, I think he can make it to the end on one stop, but we'll see what he can do. They do have fuel modes, like engine modes that they can adjust in these cars that lean out the fuel a little bit. That puts Dietrich into the lead. And in fact, Hill has gotten ahead of Ficacci, and Treakle having a bad, I'm not sure what happened there, but he had a really slow pit stop. Did he run out of fuel or something? I'm gonna go see if I can try to figure out what happened here. Because I'm seeing he had 45 seconds in the pits versus like Hill was only 32 seconds in the pits, but the actual box time. Well, I see. Hill's box time was much less. Darren overshot his pit lane, or his pit box there. So Hill is currently in the lead, but Hill's going to have to stop again in probably another 10 minutes or so. That is Dietrich in second. Does he pit this time, or does he go for another lap? I think he's going to come in. Here he comes, but the key thing is this is a 40-minute race. He's coming in the under 20 minutes to go, so he can possibly make it on one more stop. That's going to put Hendrick through in P3, though, for the moment. So Darren, really tough. I mean, he had a really fast car, as we saw. He had the pole, but just those little mistakes can put you back really far. Kennedy there, coming through in P5. Dietrich taking that pit. So everybody ahead of him is going to have to pit again, and if he's on the strategy I think he is, he will be good to go to the end. He's under 19 minutes. This is what we do like about the two-stop strategy, like the fuel being close, is that we do have cars on different strategies. What we don't want is the leaders up here saving fuel the whole time. Big gap back to P2. Another gap back to P3. Let's try to find where our closest battles are. We've actually spread out a bit. Oh boy, that was a horrible sound. I don't know if you guys heard that. I think it was Stutzman. Let's get a replay of that. What happened there? Stutzman and Stover battling one another. Something's gonna go awry here. Does he have help? Does he miss his braking zone? Let's see. No? So far so good. Oh! Blink? I've done this before. I was penalized for it. No contact yet, though. My incident had contact there on the exit of turn 11. Oh, he blinked again. Oh, this is not where you want to go off. What happens? Oh boy. And that kills it. And that's all she wrote. I heard that engine explode. Stutzman is out there. Wow. Kind of looked like he aimed and killed it. I don't know if you agree there, Scott. Like he knew he was off, and then he said, "Let's make this end," and he killed it. That is 2 cars currently out of the field. That's Stutzman and Scheel out. 14 cars left in the field. Let's see, who do we want to keep an eye on? I guess a good idea would be to have a look at Sten Cellier here, and we'll of course mention the name rotating up there. Would we Beltway Brewing Company? So they're out of their Marzen lager. That is, Oktoberfest is completely gone. So none of that anymore, but you can always head on over to their craft house in Sterling, Virginia. Check them out. They represent the DMV. They have IPAs, lagers, sour stouts, and even seltzers. Flights and empanadas by Peruvian Brothers are available in the tap room. And for all things Beltway, go to beltwaybrewco.com or follow them at Beltway Brewco. For Black Friday, they're going to have an Imperial Stout. That's my personal favorite of all of the varieties of beer that you can have. High alcohol, what is probably got to be like 10%. It's an Imperial Stout. It's got to be 10%. So that's a good time if you want to have one. The other one that we've got is SEO Mike. They jumped on this season, as I was seeing John Woodensten there battling. SEO Mike specializes in, and I don't see Dean out there, he's running the SEO Mike car, but they specialize in organic search engine optimization. They've been doing it since 1997. Over that last 24 years, they've worked with over 4,000 websites in a wide variety of industries to help those achieve strong rankings in search engines, and that's led those companies into growth in traffic, sales, and revenue. That is SEO Mike jumping on board as the title sponsor here of the series. Darren Treakle has caught Darren, he's caught Darren, yeah, he's Darren, has caught Hendrick here. As you can see, we need headlights at this point. good battle here. It's a battle for the lead, though. Hill's got 5 seconds over Fikachi. That mega pit stop that he had set him out there. Hill's going to have to push to get up there in the next sequence of pit stops. It can happen. Let's go on board a little bit different here with Darren as he works on Hendrick up here. Darren's going to be trying to set up for a great exit off of this corner, turn 6. Actually, that might have been turn 7. Let me check. That was turn 7. We're going to have turns 8 and 9 up here. These are just like straightaways in the American numbering system for racetracks. These slight kinks are corner numbers. Hard under the brakes into 10A through 10B. Thought Darren might be a little bit closer there, but that is what it is. About 13 minutes to go. We're going to be coming up in the next sequence of pit stops. I bet Hendrick is going to be pitting next time. Ooh, nearly. Thought Darren might run into him there. They hop those curbs in turns 2 and 3. Through the S's they go. This race has gone really quickly so far. I was like, we're suddenly down to 12 minutes to go? Action-packed, I guess. I think Hendrick's gonna be pitting here. Yeah, you probably know, regarding blinking of headlights, you probably know that better than I do. I guess they do it for, they do it to try to distract a driver. He looks inside, not gonna happen there. They certainly do it when they're coming up on lap traffic. The real-life sports cars do it all the time, constantly. I'd get really annoyed if that was me, because over in IndyCar, which is what I usually run, we don't have headlights, and so that just angers me, and it's not gonna make me get out of the way, is what I can tell you. It's gonna make me more difficult to get out of the way. In fact, the one time, as Darren gets around Hendrick out of the exit of turn 1 there, see if you can hold on. The one time I did a sports car race, well, I've done it a few times, but it was in the GTE at Road America. They kept flashing their lights at me, and that just made me mad and made me not want to give them spots. So my team was telling me on the radio, they said, they want to get around. I was like, I don't care, he's blinking his lights at me. So yeah, don't do that to me. All right, well, that's that battle. Hendrick's still out on the track, though. He's going to have to pit again, though. Guaranteed. Only car that might not pit is Dietrich. He's currently P9, so he's looking to gain some spots back. We're going to have to double-check our qualifying positions and see who's gaining the most here, because I think... We've got Hill into the pit lane. So he took less fuel. This is going to be possibly his longer stop. He's going to have about, 10 minutes to go. Darren, Hendrick go through. Kennedy goes through. Lanik goes through in P5. Hill exits the pits. So Fikachi's going to get that lap led, at least, through the sequence of stops. We'll see what he can do. Make some ground up, I think. So it was about 5 seconds between these cars. After Steve here pits, it's going to be less than that, I think. It's going to be setting up for a battle to the end. We hope it's within like a second, but it's probably going to be between halfway, maybe 3 or 4 seconds. So I don't think it's going to be quite that close. So fastest lap of the race still belongs to Andy Scheel. Steve is close to it. Hill is close to it. As is Darren, but not quite there. We're almost pitch black here in Road Atlanta. We've spread out in terms of battles, so we'll keep an eye on everybody we can do. Let's just, well, trying to think here. We're about to have a bunch of pit stops. After we get through the sequence of pit stops, I'll go through the field, get a little bit of camera time for everybody that's out there. This is some real Petite Le Mans kind of action here into the night here for Road Atlanta. Darren has hit the pit lane as well. Steve's staying out there, though, as is Hendrick. They definitely have to pit, though. Dietrich is here. He is running kind of like relatively slower laps again. I think it's all because of running a fuel mode that is max conserve. Treakle's going to come out of the pits in P7, but he's going to move up probably to P7 to P3 through the sequence of pit stops. Peter Lanik is catching Brian Kennedy here. Chris Hill right behind Lanik. This is actually for position. These are different strategies here. This is the price that Chris is paying because he made the early pit stop. He's got some lap traffic ahead of him. So that might slow him down just ever so slightly, and that's what a Fikachi is not going to have to deal with. So that's why it could be... Okay, we got Hendrick has jumped into the pit lane as well. So now we're looking for Fikachi to blink. We've got about 5.5 minutes left in the race. We're estimating about 6 laps. Could be 5 laps to go, depending on where they cross the start-finish line. And Chris here for his battle for the lead just wants to get ahead of Kennedy here. If he can. Hendrick back out. Dietrich is back there. He's moving up to P8, so he could be in store for like a top 6 position here, coming back through the field after being last at the end of the first lap with that off that he had. I think we might be bringing him in for an interview. Or we can let Scott decide. Who should we bring in for that wild card interview? As we've got Brian Kennedy, Lanik also coming in with him. Can let me know in chat, Scott. Otherwise, I'll pick somebody, and it's kind of between. Brian, I think, started 10th, and he looks like he's going to finish about 5th. Or possibly Dietrich. But we did interview Aaron last week because he had a great run, too. Portanic in the pits. Kennedy's gonna come on out. Mikachi's still staying out here. I don't think there's any way that he can make it to the end on one stop, but we'll see here. He can prove me wrong. Here he comes. Our leader into the pits. Now all eyes are going to be on Chris Hill. And where Fikachi, there's plenty of time here. This is a lot of lap before Hill gets up here. It's going to be really close. Yeah, I feel like we haven't. Alright. Mikachi, I think Hill's gonna have it here. He comes away. There it is. It's really close. It is much closer than it was. It's gonna be about a second. So we've got a battle till the end here. Dietrich currently in P5. About a second and a half lead for Hill at the moment as Fikachi gets everything kind of going again. These guys are going to be putting down some big time laps here to the end of this race. Darren's going to get back into third. Awesome there for Darren. So it doesn't look like we're going to get an interview for Hendrick here, unfortunately. Dietrich in fifth. He's going to be saving that fuel, though, to the end. Brian and Peter, they should be able to catch up to Aaron by the end of the race here. Let's go on board with Steve here. That is our leader ahead, Chris Hill. And we also know that Steve here out-qualified Chris. So, of course, we know that Darren did as well. So something with the setup might be just slightly better for Steve here. And we can see he's gaining. It's down to a second now. It was a second and a half. But of course, even catching him is one thing, but actually making a pass is another. But I think we're going to see a good one here with about 3 laps to go, maybe 2 laps to go at the line. Yeah. It's coming down to it. A long straightaway. We can see blinking lights, as we talked about earlier there, Scott. Trying to distract Hill. Hill's a professional, though. He's not going to get distracted. Darren's about 7 seconds back. Hendrick another 8 seconds back from there. I was going to do it through the field, but we're not doing it through the field when we have 2 laps to go and a battle for the lead coming up right here. Down to about a half a second here. This could be, it's telling us 2 laps to go. This might be final lap. Because I'm seeing the timer is expiring. Oh! This could be for it all. Hill having a little bit of issue through that turn 6 and 7 complex. But yeah, this is confirmed. Final lap. White flag is out. Hill goes to defend. Coming up hard onto the brakes here. This is the move right here. Who gets the better exit, though? Is Hill gonna pull it off? And not quite enough time there, and Hill is going to take the win here. Road Atlanta, one more lap, and Fikachi would have had another move on that. Oh boy. Treakle comes through in P3. Hendrick in P4. Aaron Dietrich, he's going to make it the one-stopper and come home in P5. A good strategy call on the switchover by Aaron there. Brian's going to be in P6. Peter Lanik in P7. Awesome race here, guys. We'll see if we've got any... Oh, yep, there we go. There was our Wreckin' Fest there. Let me see if I can get a better replay of that, though, for you, Scott. This is Brian. Should be Brian. He's going to hit somebody in turn 1 or get hit himself. Yeah, he's going to get hit himself, I think. There we go. I don't know who hit him, but sent for the sky. All right. Well, that was a really... I felt like that race was super quick. We'll be back with our interviews, though. All right, we're back. Let me see if I can pull somebody up. Just double checking everything here. That start position is going to be incorrect. Something went wrong with things today, but we'll bring up Chris Hill here. Hey, Chris, this is Matt up in the booth. Got a copy? I see your microphone's muted, just FYI. See what happens. Now it's blinking on and off. He might be having some technical difficulties. We'll wait for him, though. He's back, but I don't hear him. Let me double check that.
You hear me now?
There you are. That was scaring me for a moment because I thought maybe it was something on my end. I've got you. I got a copy for you.
Yeah, it's been a little buggy the last couple of times here trying to get in the in the booth.
Well, tell me about your race. You took the victory. Looked like some interesting pit strategy choice there. You stopped. It looked like your pit stop was much shorter than the other guys.
Well, I figured I'd split the load. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'd put it right in the middle of how much fuel I needed for the second half of the race there. I just didn't want to try to, as much as I looked at the fuel save, it just was, I thought it was going to be unreal to do a one stop, and I don't think anybody did unless they were not really moving that fast or whatever. So, I was like, okay, I'm just going to split it down the middle. And that way, hopefully that gives me free track at some point where someone else is not. And, I don't know that it worked that way. I don't know exactly how it all worked out, but somehow I ended up, maybe I just gained enough in the free air in front that when I pitted, it all ended up giving me enough to be out in the lead at the end there. But either way, I'll take it.
Yeah, Steve, it was like 5 seconds there for a bit, though. And then Steve came out and, he was like right behind you. So he made it a show there at the end. I don't know. I was telling Scott was in the chat. I felt like this race went really quickly. I don't know how you felt in the car, but it was pretty action packed.
It was definitely intense, and
yeah.
I mean, there was 4 or 5 of us there right in that pack, kind of. So
Yep.
I mean, not necessarily, a super tight pack. But in the first half of the race, there before we did the pit stop, it was like 4 or 5 of us there, and so it was nice racing with everybody. Good to see Hendrick back also. I mean, he was mixing it up with the pack too. That was cool.
Yeah, I was hoping we might get an interview with him, but looks like it's not going to happen since he's not on the podium. But hey, you actually, what'd you qualify? 5th?
That's kind of
I had
a very strange qualifying.
Yeah.
I had a very strange qualifying. In practice, I was actually, I was on pace with what Darren did there, and then I just couldn't piece a lap together. It was just everything I could do, and I just kept messing it up and messing it up and messing it up.
Well, you made it exciting for us coming through the
They're fun
field
though.
there a bit, so that's always fun. Um, just trying to think here. You had a good run there in FIS earlier this week as well, so things are looking up there too. Things looking good over here with it tonight. Where are we going next week? Let me double check.
I think it might be Charlotte. Is that right? Yeah, Charlotte in the Roval. Huh.
I literally ran a race at Charlotte. So IndyCar fixed the official series. That's usually ovals, but they would do one road course a season, and that is the race this week. And so in the IndyCar, I ran that. It didn't go well. I was 60 at one point in time, but it's almost like it's very much like a street course, honestly. That mentality, because there's concrete walls all around. It's got very slow chicanes, that kind of thing. So I do enjoy that track. I don't think I don't really want to have a league go there that much, at least in the IndyCar. But
Yeah, I think it's kind of fun in GT cars a little bit, but it is a little bit of a funny track with all the chicanes, and there's not a lot of great passing zones there, in my
exactly,
opinion.
yeah.
But yeah, and there's, I mean, that funny section before coming on the speedway is always it's hit or miss. Like there's a real narrow line to get a hit to get it perfect there. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've sometimes done well there, and sometimes I've done completely the opposite of that. So
I
we'll
guess
see how it goes.
one of the key things is just the start of the race, because you got a rolling start. You got to go through that final chicane before the race actually starts, and hopefully everybody can get through there, correctly, and then it gets really single file really quickly after that. Like that's why I think it's very much like Long Beach is like that. Yeah, even Detroit. So that's why I kind of feel like it's almost like a street course. So
For sure.
a little bit smoother.
Yeah,
than a
well, at
street
least
course,
Long
though.
Beach, it feels like there's more places to race there than
very.
Charlotte. But it should be interesting. I think it'll be fun jumping over the curbs and all that kind of stuff. And I think first time of us doing one there that we actually have to do a pit stop. So I think every other time we've raced there, it's been like a full race. I think the last time we did was maybe even in the GTEs, if I remember correctly. But
yeah, I would think that maybe. I would think it's going to be a one-stopper, because I feel like because of all of I think it's a slower track. Like here, I was almost positive it was going to be two-stopper here because of that long straightaway on the back, all that engine power that you've got your foot down. So maybe at Charlotte, it'll just be a one-stopper. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I think you're very right on that. There's a very good chance that that's what it's going to be. We'll see though as it goes here. So
Yep.
Could be interesting and. Hopefully, I'll have my triples up by next week too. I've got two of them in and waiting on FedEx to get everything else in here. So
okay, cool. Yeah,
we'll see if that helps or if I forget how to drive with 3 screens. So we'll see.
I don't think it'll be worse or anything like that. I did triples for a while when I got back into sim racing, and then I think I've talked to you about this before, but then I've gone to VR now, and I'm not going to go back. So that's just the way. I was really not convinced originally about VR. I thought it was like a fad. It's like the 3D movies at the movie theater. They're not any better, in my opinion. But I'm on the VR bandwagon. So,
and I love the VR stuff too. I just wish the resolution was better, and and then I started researching like stuff like response time on it, and it's pretty terrible. So I don't know. We'll see. And the main thing for me is the overlays, especially like this season.
I don't have that. Yeah.
Not having any ability to see things live and work strategy without like actually doing math in my head, which sometimes they can do while I'm driving, but other times not as much as I'd like. So
well, I didn't do it this week at VIR.
Yeah.
I had that half-liter mistake. Yes.
Yeah, that was a fun race. That was fun racing you there.
It was.
Yeah.
Hey, any last final shout-outs, that kind of thing? Obviously, Precision Racing Instructions, your company, but you can talk about them better than I can.
Yeah, I mean, we basically are, do private coaching in pretty much any form of racing. I mean, if you want to do in the sim, we do in the sim. We also go out with people with their real cars and play on tracks with fun toys and teach you how to do that and kind of everything in between. And I've been doing this for a little while, and you definitely can help anybody out with getting faster or better racecraft or whatever the case may be. So yeah, hit us up around Instagram, Facebook, and all of that. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of that. So
Hey, one final thing I just remembered, because I actually talked to Darren about this last week, was I saw, so Indianapolis Motor Speedway is building some new building out there, and they're gonna apparently they're gonna host like BMW, another BMW facility, like for a car, like your performance center at the Indianapolis Motor
yeah, I
Speedway.
haven't heard all the details yet of that and exactly how much time we're going to be spending out there
Yeah.
and what we're all going to be doing. But there is, yeah, that's definitely been talked about, confirmed that that's happening in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the thing that's up in the air is how many dates and what we're doing and that type of stuff, as
Yeah.
far as I know. And I'm sure they'll announce it in due time. But we were out there this year a bunch for a couple of weeks playing with the race cars and stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see if that happens again or if they might do some other events. But I also think it's going to be a little bit of a hospitality suite for them for any like sports car races or anything happening at the Speedway. So
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure it's going to be a multi-purpose facility. So we'll see what happens, though. I mean, I love the Speedway. It'd be fun to go back and do some more there.
Yeah, that whole facility, just talking about the Speedway itself, like since Penske bought it, he's monetizing it since that happened, and it's a great thing. It's not sitting there for however many months a year with nothing happening anymore. Stuff is happening all the time. So yeah. Anyway,
Sure.
we've got other interviews to do, Chris. So I'll let you go, but we'll see you next week.
Good chat
Yep.
with you. See you next week. Yeah, have a good.
Yep. Okay, we'll get Steve up here. Long talk with Chris there. Hey, Steve, this is Matt in the booth. Got a copy? I see you are muted. Similar problem that Chris had as well, so we'll see what happens. I see it blinking. On and off, on and off. We'll see. What I was seeing is that there's a deafen way you can deafen yourself, and then there's a way that you can turn the microphone on and off. It might be that. And if not, I can bring up Darren and we can talk to him while you figure that out. I'll do that. Hey, Darren, this is Matt up in the booth. Got a copy?
I do, Matt. How you doing?
We've been having some issues, so I'm glad that you responded.
Yeah, we see that Steve is muted.
Yeah, so he was muted, and then well, he's deafened as well. That's like there's muted and there's deafened. So we'll see what happens. But hey, you had the poll. You looked like you had a really strong car, but some things went a little bit south there. Refresh my memory on what exactly happened there. Or don't, if you don't want to talk about it.
Oh no, I had a little snafu on the pit stop.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I overshot my pit box, so I had to back up, and then I had to back up again because the sign was right in front of my windshield, but apparently I hadn't backed up enough, so I had to back up more, and then it started fueling. But I kind of couldn't see my lollipop guy very well because there was a car parked. Andy Shield was parked there right in front of my box, right? So I kind of didn't have a good view of my lollipop guy, so I overshot the pit box a little bit, and that was pretty much all she wrote.
Yeah, that is a tough break. So I know a friend of mine, my teammate in another series that we run on Tuesdays, he did the same thing you did, but a little bit worse because he was out of fuel.
Oh, he couldn't even back up.
He couldn't even throw it in reverse. So he had to tow. It was a quick tow, but still a tow is a tow. And, it was like plus 20 seconds or 30 seconds or something like that. So, all things considered, you were able to get back onto the podium. I thought, that might not happen. You got around Hendrick. You raced him pretty good. He didn't make it easy.
No, he held me up a little bit as well. So I would have been a little further up, I think, had I not gotten held up behind him. And I hoping he would kind of give me a point by, even though I realized it was for position,
Yeah.
but I was a little quicker, and I was just hoping he might give me a point by. And then I was like, well, I guess he's not. So I was a little bit more forceful with it. And I was like, well, I'm just going to have to make a spot, you know. So, but we didn't have contact or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way it is. It's called racing.
That's just the way it
There's
is.
other
It's
cars
called
on the
racing.
track.
Yeah, exactly.
Scott was in the chat, and he noticed you were blinking your lights at him, I think, too. So you were using all the tools in the toolbox to make that happen.
Oh yeah, I was maybe thinking it might, it might throw him off or whatever, make a mistake. I was kind of hoping he'd make a little mistake or something, and then I'd zip right by, but he didn't. So. But I was a little quicker, so I just had to pick my spot and be right on him, to get a run, basically.
Hey, next week we're running Charlotte Roval. I'm pretty sure we've done that before, but Chris made the point that he wasn't sure that we've done it with pit stops before. So how do you think that's going to play out?
Well, me personally, I'm not a fan of Charlotte, so I don't expect to do very well there. But it's going to be interesting for sure, with there being pit stops. I think there's going to be some incidents as well, but it's not, it's definitely not, it's pretty low on my list of tracks, honestly, to be honest with you.
Hey, so this is a whole thing. So over in another league that I run, we talk about the Rovals a lot, okay? And where does this one of my colleagues, he's more of a historian on this kind of stuff, but the original Roval was something in Rio, I'm talking Brazil. They had an oval over there that was like a very road course style oval, and they called it the Roval back then. But nowadays, like NASCAR, came in, they built the Roval, and it has that little Roval trademark symbol next to it. So they've trademarked it over there in NASCAR land. So yeah, I mean, I like him occasionally. I don't think that one is a very good one. I actually just ran it a couple hours ago because Indy Fixed Series official series is there this week, and I qualified well. I did not race well. There's a lot of places that you can make contact there. So yeah, that's what I expect next week for you guys as well. Is it's a bit like the mentality that you have going to Detroit or Long Beach. That's the mentality that you have to go into Charlotte Roval with, because those walls are concrete as opposed to grass runoff that we usually have like here. So
yeah, I don't know. It just that I like Detroit and Long Beach, but I've actually run the Charlotte Roval in real life.
Have you?
Yeah, and so it's just. Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, it's not a high on my list. I like other Rovals, Daytona and stuff, but this one is just not high on the list for Rovals, that's for sure, or for any track for that matter.
Yeah.
So.
Well, in another league that I run, where we were voting on what Roval we're going to do, we did not include this one. So by design, we did not include it.
Yeah, no, that was a good job on your part.
Well, again, it'll still be I do find it a fun place to lap, but again, the racing can be a little iffy.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes. There will be a little bit probably more contact than usual there. Lap traffic will certainly be an issue when it comes up. Very difficult. It's like the straightaways just aren't long enough to make a pass just about there.
Yeah, and there never seems to be any grip, and it's just it's just not a very fun track.
Well, we've let out all of our thoughts about Charlotte Roval, but
I think we took care of it.
We took care of it. So tell me about Treakle Insurance and let me know any other shout outs, thank yous, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, Treakle Insurance Agency, we do auto, home, business, life, and then Hagerty does race car coverage for while you're trailering it or it's in storage or anything like that, not while it's on the track. And they do collector car coverage as well, so they partnered up with me to do this. And then just the usual suspects: SEO Mike and Sten over there at Beltway Brewery, Chris and his driving school, which I never seem to remember. I should probably write that down. And
Precision
then
racing instruction. So
precision racing instruction. I can't even say it. And then of course you for doing the broadcast, and this is
Yep.
our last season with you, which is a bummer, but understood. And then of course Scott for putting this all together.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I appreciate you guys having me do this, but it's a bit of a hobby thing, and sometimes real life catches up with you, right? And
it does.
iRacing can only be a certain amount of time that you spend, so got to cut back a little bit.
Exactly. Exactly. You got to cut where you need to. So
Yep. All right. Well, you take care, Darren. We'll see
thanks,
you
Matt.
see you next week at Charlotte,
Sounds
whether we
good.
like it or not.
That's it. See you there.
All right. See ya.
All right, man. Bye.
Hey, Steve. This is Matt. You might have a copy now.
Hey, Matt. Yeah, I don't know what that was all about.
Chris had the same issue, so he got it sorted. Now you've got it sorted. Well,
Yep.
interesting strategies here. Chris took like an early pit stop.
Yeah.
He did get caught up with some. It wasn't lap traffic. It was for position,
Mhm.
like Kennedy, I think, is who it was, and maybe
Yeah.
Lanik. And then you had your pit, and you came out right behind him. Probably ran out of time though, but you tried. You tried to make it happen.
I'm a little disappointed. I kind of half-assed it, and I was trying to cover all the options, which was stupid. I should have picked something and went for it. So I didn't go fast. I didn't save enough fuel. I was kind of in the middle, and it didn't work. Like I was really nervous based on our pace that this was going to be a 31 lap race, and it was really close. I mean, like we were within a few seconds, and
Mhm.
to save the fuel for a 31 lap race is like it's doable, but not really. Um, and I didn't commit till later to the full on just going for it. It was just too late. Yeah, I'm just mad at myself for not really starting the race with a plan. I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, let's just see what happens, which is stupid.
Hey, maybe it was because of the Thunderdome last night that
It's
you.
very possible.
I mean, the
Yeah.
mentality there is you just kind of go with it, right?
Yeah,
So,
that's it. It's like, hey, I got a plan, but that guy's cutting over there, so that's what I'm gonna start doing. So,
yeah, just make it
yeah,
up as you
no,
go.
I totally ruined it. And then I saw Aaron Dietrich made it 15 laps the first time,
He did,
and I was
yeah.
like, he's going to win the race because he wasn't that far behind us. And I'm like, well, he went that far. He doesn't have to pit a second time. But I guess he must have had trouble because, yeah, he by far would have won that race. I mean, that was the winning strategy. Nobody chose it. I
Yeah,
think.
he had an early off, so that I think he
Okay.
switched over to that strategy when he had that off, which was an excellent decision. Unless he took that from the start, so.
Yeah, he that would have won the race, and then Darren, I think, had pace on all of us, but had an issue in the pits, so it was like
Mhm.
everybody's just throwing it away. I'm just, like I said, I'm frustrated with myself for not committing to either strategy, which is obviously stupid now, hindsight. But I've had a good season. I think on one hand, I'm happy that I could have won every race. On the other hand, I'm mad that I didn't. So um, you know, it's going, I guess, as well as it can go.
Yeah, I guess not to bring up bad luck, but you are on the podium this week in some of the couple other races this season where you did
Yeah,
have a big mistake. You were not on the podium there, so you were
correct.
on it this week. So there's good with that. It was kind of interesting to see like Chris move from fifth to first.
Yeah.
And that whole thing. So it was this race kind of went by much quicker. Scott was talking in chat, and I'm like, this race is going really quickly because it's pretty action packed for you guys. But
Yeah, it's an interesting track, and you just have to be real careful with lap traffic because there's really nowhere for them to get out of the way. It's very easy, obviously, to draft them down the backstretch, but pretty much anywhere else on the track, it's going to slow you down enough where maybe you'll lose contact if you're following a car, or enough to let the car behind you catch up. So it's just something you have to be real mindful of. And honestly, there's really not a whole lot you can do about it except for kind of handle it when it gets there and hope it goes your way. It's just a tough track. Like I guess from like turn 1 to turn 5, it's just, a lapper really can't get out of your way. So
yeah, there was a moment with that exactly happened.
but to go fast, I mean, you've got to be full commit over all the curves. You can't be careful. So I mean, if if the slower car is being careful, there could be seconds in there. It's a
Yeah.
lot. So being out front, obviously the best place, because if you slow down, pretty much the cars back stack up behind you. You don't lose time, but it's still just it's nerve wracking.
Well, speaking of difficult to pass and lappers, that kind of thing, what do you think about Charlotte Roval? We've talked about everybody about this. I don't think anybody's a
I
big
don't
fan.
know. I've done it in the MX-5, like when it first came out, and I remember
Mhm.
thinking it wasn't so bad. But these cars are a lot faster.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were not going to be as curve friendly as the MX-5.
No,
So I don't know which layout we're using. I think there's options for
there
with
are
without the
options.
chicane, a
Yeah.
tighter chicane. So the chicane pretty much can suck. It's just I don't think you're not going to get a pass done before it, and I don't think there's enough room after it to do another pass. And I think the curbs there, the big ones, will ruin this car. So
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what to expect. Yeah, it's a tough circuit. It's fast. I think it's going to be tight. So it's just going to kind of be a procession. You have to make a move like Chris did tonight and just
Hmm.
hit off strategy and hope you can make up some time.
I
Otherwise, I
have a
think
feeling it will be
follow the leader.
a one stopper though. So that's just my
Yeah.
thought going into this. I figured tonight would be a two stopper,
Yeah.
and that's the way it was. But like you said, maybe it was a one stopper. Just didn't work out for Aaron there. But
Well, like I said, the real issue was the pace. Like last night when we practiced, the track was really fast,
mhm.
and at that pace, it would have been a 31 lap race, and then pretty much you couldn't do a two stopper. But our pace tonight was about like 5 seconds too slow overall, which isn't much over 40 minutes to cut that one lap down, which would have made a one stopper work perfect. And if you made that work, you would have won by 15, 20 seconds.
Mhm.
But you had
Hey,
to commit and possibly run out of gas.
any shout outs, thank yous, that kind of thing. I know we do this every week, and you got
Yeah,
your
yeah,
list,
yeah.
but go ahead
So,
and give it.
well, I'm going to thank my wife, and I'm going to thank the guys over at Rick Slicks. But I think next week I'm going to have to put some more SEO Mike signage on the car. I think he's the only one without a car out here. We have, we have the Precision Racing car. We've got a Treakle Hagerty Insurance car. We've got a Beltway Brewery car. Well, all the sponsors got a car, so I think somebody's got to step up and get some signage out there.
Well, Dean was usually running it, but yeah, he wasn't here today. So,
Nope.
and he's missed a few races this season. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we'll try to get that car up front then.
there you go. Well, we'll see you next week at Charlotte. I mean, for me, I think it'll be really fun in the booth. For you guys, not so much.
Yeah, like you said, it's all going to come down to where the pit stops are and whether or not we can pass. Which depending on that chicane, I think it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, we'll see you next week, Steve.
Thank you.
Hey, Peter, this is Matt up in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey, man. Yeah, I do, Matt. What's going on?
Well, I was asking, I was debating who to bring up here, and I asked Scott in the chat because he was out there in the chat. I don't know where he's at this week, but he said, I told him, you pick it. And he said, bring up Peter. So that's what I'm doing. Well, tell me about your race. Tell me about your season because we haven't talked all that much for a little bit. So.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to practice Road Atlanta that much. So yesterday I didn't do all that well. So I spent a little bit more time in the practice session today, and that helped. Just needed another 3 or 4 tenths per lap to try to stay up close with the top 5. So, but it's a nice track. I enjoyed it. Brian and I had a nice little. I guess wasn't quite a battle because I never got really close to him, but I was within a second and a half to 3 seconds throughout the whole 40-minute race. So I just kept looking at the clock and hoping that he would make a small mistake that would allow me to get right on his butt, but he never did. So it was a nice, clean race throughout, and I thought it was very enjoyable.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to Scott in chat, and I told him, and I've said it multiple times, like this race, its pace went really quickly. Like sometimes, you're broadcasting and you could feel like the race is long, but this got over in 40 minutes, like really, really quickly. So
yeah, we were just talking about that on Discord. It's and I have to agree. I do some of the IMSA races, and they're 40, 45 minutes, and I've gotten used to them, but I've never really enjoyed our NCC races once we went over half an hour. But as I think we've gotten cleaner and better, you realize that it's it is about consistency and not making mistakes and strategy, and it becomes that much more amplified when you are in a longer race. So. I think I really did enjoy that. Just wish I could stay a little bit closer. And then on the last refill, I ended up passing my pit stall by just a little bit, so I had to back up, and I was I was within a second of Brian, but just couldn't get him, even though he's my teammate. But really wanted to get close to him.
Hey, I just thought of something else. You did an IndyCar start not too long ago. What are your thoughts about that whole thing? It is a lot of car, so it has a big learning curve. Tell me about your thoughts on the IndyCar.
I think that's the biggest barrier to entry, Matt. The car is very fast, and you need to be on top of your game, and it's a big step up from the GT3s. So I like Zolder, so I joined you guys. Mm-hmm. I'd like to do it more, but it's such a big gap in terms of the technique and how you drive the car and how quickly things come at you in the IndyCar that I think it's too much of a gap to overcome. And unless I already know the track, it becomes a big uphill battle to learn the car and to learn the track. So
yeah. I mean, I run it. That's my primary car. But even with me knowing the car, it still takes a significant amount of time to run that every week.
It's very rewarding once you get it. And I had a couple of really clean laps in there, and I was like, okay, this is fun. You kind of get into the groove, but then it's easy to make a mistake if you don't have a lot of seat time, which is what happened to me. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you trying it out here from time to time, and I was just kind of want to get your thoughts about it. It's by far my favorite car. I have some issues coming back over to GT3, and GT cars. I have talked to Scott, and I'm not going to be broadcasting next season, but we'll see. I might join from a race from time to time, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you should do that. It'd be good to have you.
Yep. Hey, next week we've let everybody talk about their grief with Charlotte Rovals next week. You want to talk about it?
Not what I would consider my favorite track, and this is something that we have talked about internally, and how do we set up the season so that it has some kind of a rhyme and a reason other than just going to some of our favorite tracks and then trying something new, which I'm always down for. But a lot of us, we do other series, maybe not so many of the official race series, but if we do, it's definitely in the same car, right? So what we talked about is that I think it would make a lot of sense is to take a look at the IMSA series that runs the GT3, so that instead of trying to learn a new track and a new car, where at least we already know the car pretty well, let's try to sync up the season with the tracks on another calendar, maybe the IMSA series calendars, right? So that's my thought. Charlotte, it's not bad. I mean, it's a new track, so you gotta, it takes a little bit of practice and more focus. I don't mind it. There are other tracks that I probably don't like more than that, but looking forward to what's the last one? It's
is it Zam? I feel like it's Zandvoort.
No, Zandvoort we did 2 weeks ago.
Hockenheim.
Yes, that's Hockenheim. Yeah, I've never done it, so I'm really looking forward to that one.
It's one of my favorites, honestly. We ran it in the IndyCar in a late race, but it was kind of just always one of my favorites, even in Formula One. I know it's not like the old one that they ran that was like however many miles long, but and they've butchered it down since then, but it's still a fun track to me. It's got that hairpin. I'm trying to think like how many hairpins you guys have done. Not all that many, so that'll be interesting. Great passing point. So
look forward to it.
All right, well, great run here tonight. I think you started 10th and finished 7th. That's what my data is sometimes screwy, but
that sounds about right. I think a couple people up front that gave in.
Yeah.
But it was fun. All right, well, thanks for being with us this season. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully you can join us at least for a few races next year.
If you guys are doing something like Detroit, Detroit's probably like my favorite track. It's like I would probably run Charlotte Roval too. I like these tracks that are not like too kind to you. So
yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, we did Detroit earlier this season, and it's a tough one. And I just I watched the I watched the IndyCar in real life at Detroit, and you just realize how crazy, every single turn you are inches from the concrete barriers, and it's just a lot of respect for the drivers and going balls out, all the time.
Definitely. Hey, well, my one start in the series ever was the Detroit race back in whatever the season was when, I don't know, I wasn't broadcasting every week or something like that. I joined you guys for Detroit. I qualified in the top 5, but I think I finished 6th or something like that. I had some major damage the entire race, and my steering wheel was 45 degrees to the right for most of the race.
that is no way to go around that track. It's no fun.
It was tough. So, but hopefully I will join you guys for some rounds if work permits. But yeah, take care, Peter. We'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Bye.
Take care. All right, let's go through the results. They've been there the whole time. Chris Hill's going to take the win. Steve Fugacci, Darren Treakle Hendrick in P4, Aaron Dietrich, Brian Kennedy, Peter Lanik. We just talked to Colin Kortanik, Jakov Bielik, Peter Yerkes, Stephen Tenney, Matthew Stover, John Woods, Den Sellier, Andrew Stutzman, Andy Scheel having that tough accident there, and apparently I finished 17th, although that's a mistake. So thanks to Scott Kim joining us in chat here tonight, and everybody's going to be watching this on replay. Take care, and we're out of here.